Well, it is Friday and the weekend is upon us. And with that said, I was not in court today. I just got back from seeing a client in jail in Philadelphia. In-person attorney visits are now allowed again in Philadelphia. So that's a good thing. We're allowed to see clients in person as opposed to Zoom. Zoom wasn't really that great. The video and the ability to hear the client wasn't always the best. So we're happy to be back doing in-person consultations for those individuals who are in custody. With that said, we did come out with our weekly e-update today, which put out to over 3,000 of our current and former clients. I'm going to link in that link to the e-update, which is a great resource to have. In that update, I talked a lot about the situation involving former Philadelphia Eagles coach Andy Reid's son, Britt Reid, who was involved in a vehicle accident prior to the Super Bowl. And there's an issue with regards to whether or not he was possibly impaired. It could be a very, very serious charge that he is facing if he was impaired, because two young children weren't injured pretty severely. I'm not sure if the other child has been released from the hospital, but I know that at least one of them was in pretty serious shape there, and we're hoping that that's going to get better in the near future. It is Friday, and we do understand that a lot of our calls do come in over the weekend, and that's why we always answer our calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I always give my Friday weekend advice. So if you're stopped for suspicion of DUI or DWI in Pennsylvania or New Jersey, you do not want to refuse that chemical test, whether it be a blood test or a breathalyzer test. Now, there are situations where refusing that blood test or breathalyzer test may be a better choice. For instance, following a vehicle accident, I would probably recommend refusing that blood or breathalyzer test, even though it might result, it will result in a license suspension in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. If a person is injured or God forbid killed, you really want to put yourself in the best possible position from a defense standpoint. I'm not giving moral advice here, I'm simply giving legal advice. So I understand people may have an issue with me saying that, but really with regards to my position as defense attorney, I have to give advice that puts the client in the best possible position. And in my professional opinion, if there's an accident and someone is injured or worse, refusing that breathalyzer test and giving the prosecution less evidence to work with might be a better decision. Now, that said, it's still, the prosecution can and most likely will introduce evidence of that refusal as a possible consciousness of guilt argument. But as a defense lawyer, I'd rather have to deal with that rather than chemical evidence indicating possible impairment. I can do a lot more with alleged consciousness of guilt and a person's alleged appearance following an accident rather than a chemical test, which is a medical certainty in most situations. So in addition, if you are stopped and police want to search the car, understand that warrantless searches, once again, are not allowed in Pennsylvania. They're illegal. They're still permissible in New Jersey because New Jersey, unlike Pennsylvania, follows the federal automobile exception, whereas Pennsylvania recently overruled the previous case of Commonwealth versus Gary, which said that Pennsylvania's Constitution provides no greater protection than the U.S. Constitution. The case of Commonwealth v. Alexander, however, overruled Gary in December of 2020, and now we're back to the pre-Gary stages where it was previously stated in Commonwealth versus Edmonds that the Pennsylvania Constitution provides a higher level of protection, and therefore warrantless searches are not allowed. If the officer wants to search the car, do not get into Commonwealth versus Alexander or Commonwealth versus Gary. Do not get into a political discussion with the officer. They're not interested. If they want to search the car, just don't get in their way. Make it clear that you're not giving consent and allow your attorney to fight that battle if you are in fact arrested. If you are arrested, the best possible plan is to hire an attorney as soon as possible. If bail is an issue, understand that New Jersey, unlike Pennsylvania, doesn't have a cash bail system. It has a detention system where you are evaluated based on a public safety assessment, whereas Pennsylvania has the traditional cash system. If you have questions about a stop or a search or a DUI or DWI or any type of criminal offense over the weekend or any time, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey. The website, gambonelaw.com, a tremendous resource for you and your family. Finally, your Pennsylvania gun does not belong in New Jersey. Remember that in New Jersey, it's almost impossible to have a permit to carry. So if you're carrying your gun in New Jersey, whether it be a Pennsylvania gun or a New Jersey gun, more than likely you're carrying it illegally, and you face a possible 42-month mandatory minimum sentence. So finally, I wish you all a great weekend. If you have questions, remember 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey. Have a great Friday, and I'll talk to you all soon.